Look what I found about this board. See that? The grip tape is going in. See that? So this is a drop deck. They have covered it with the grip tape and the sticker behind just to make sure, like, to mount this bigger wheel. You guys see that? I was talking about that it's a drop deck. You see the hole over there? So it's a drop deck. So what we'll do is, like, we'll remove the grip tape a little bit, dismantle these trucks, put through this drop deck and change the wheels into small ones. Okay, so this will reduce the height. We'll do that later.
Do it! Just do it! Just do it!
Here are the hardwares removed, and our front truck or the rear truck, it's kind of a uni-shaped deck, and when I remove it and keep it aside, and you already get a vision here, and take off the razor pads separately, you can see that the deck, I'm sorry, I'm kind of moving the camera quite hard because, like, the board is kind of wobbling because of the weight on the other side. Okay, could see the deck with a hole. So this is amazing. This is a drop through board. This is the deck which we had 100mm wheels on, which is kind of removed right now, and it's on my LDP board, and it's a drop through board, and you could see that that's a grip tape, and that's how a grip tape should look like. It's a polyethylene material, and that's waterproof, you know. Even though the wood is not coated with epoxy, the grip tape, since being it's a plastic, it will save it from water. So it's a drop through board. So the task is, like, we have to disassemble the entire hanger, bushings, etc., and we have to put the hanger through this hole, put the base plate through this hole and assemble the hanger upside down, which means it will reduce the height of the board. And I'm going to put the 70mm wheels to it, and let me hold you there for a second. I kind of soaked it for 24 hours in Dettol, the disinfectant, and some soap water, and cleaned the bearings from grease and everything, put the spacers, everything all mounted together. I did it the same way as I did it with the 100mm wheels, and used the Bones bearing remover, you know. So it's all good. So all I have to do is, when I disassemble this, I have to clean this a little bit, apply some oil, grease to it, you know, and cut this and assemble them. Okay, it's all the same. You don't put the wheels right away, you mount the wheels only after you mount the trucks to the deck. Okay, so that's it. Peace. Okay, that is the farthest distance my stand can go right now, and I'm going to use the box cutter. It's easy to cut the grip tape from back side than to the front side, because, like, you might have to face quite a lot of grains. Cut it, so it's easy this way. You can poke, there you go. And as far as the front view is concerned, this is the grip tape. Keep it here for you to see. Let me clean that up a little bit. These box cutters are really sharp. It actually took off some wood actually from the deck. So yeah, this happens. I think I'm going to fold the rest of the finest thing that is protruding. It will kind of give a protection to the board. Okay, here we go. That's how the drop deck looks, and let me flip it for you. So it's ready. I'm going to do the other side. I'm not going to show you how to do it. You already saw one. And then I'll get going to disassemble the truck's hanger. Okay, ciao. The other side is also done. Enter view of the deck. So let's go with the trucks. Peace. You know, I have made videos for the entire year, next year 2022, but I am still hurrying up with few things here right in front of you. Still continuing to make videos. It's just because like few things could be useful on my regular life, day-to-day life, you know. When I get bored using the LDP board, I'm sorry, I hit the mobile phone stand here. My hands are around the mobile actually, so these could be useful on everyday life, you know. I don't want to ride my LDP board or like on a daily basis. I need to buy a new grip tape for that, you know, replacing that salt grip tape. And the new grip tape from Decathlon is not in stock yet, so whenever that is in stock I need to buy 2 of them. So until then I have to save that paper grip tape that is on the LDP board. So an alternative board could really help me right now, so that's what I'm trying to do. Here we go. Trying to push the hanger so that we can take the bushings out. Yeah, bushings fell, so okay, so 2 cup washers, one for the cone, one for the barrel. This is the kingpin nut. You have the barrel bushings, and today we are lucky enough that this kingpin nut is coming off. I have never shown the kingpin nut in my channel before, so this is how a kingpin nut looks like. Okay, it's very important to know the detail, like the threads, you know, should not run over your bushings. Okay, when you put 2 bushings, the kingpin nut, which has the soft portions, should cover that. Okay, if your bushings run through the threads, you know, a kingpin of that style, it will wear off your bushing, so that's not good. In that case, you might have to put some spherical bearings to your hanger, and it will still wear out the threads and the spherical bearings, so that's not good for you. So a kingpin will have at least 3/4 of the soft portion and then the threads for rest of it. So this is how a kingpin looks, and a base plate looks without the kingpin. That's a big hole. It's 10 mm actually, and there is a minor crack on the pivot cup. Right now I don't have a sample pivot cup or a pivot cup to change for this one, so I'm going to leave it that way. You can see the damage that the pivot is causing to the base plate. So this longboard trucks may not survive for a long time. So until it survives, I'm going to keep and make using it. So that's how the base plate look. This should be around 48 to 50 degrees, the base plate angle. Okay, this one the kingpin also. So all good. Just give me a second, let me find and pick up the bushing. I'll find that later. Okay, so this is how you disassemble your entire longboard truck. Okay, that's your hanger. So for this one, this is actually the axle. What you're looking at is an axle. The aluminum part of the hanger is this, and this is the axle which is running from this end to this end. Okay, so that's a hanger. Okay, I don't know if this hanger changes angle when you switch it on your base plate. Okay, and you will have to lower your hanger or the base plate angle if and only you're doing some downhill thing or going, you know, for fast riding stuff. So I'm going to carve and push at 5 or 7 kilometers per hour. So this is absolutely fine. 48 or 50 degree hangers are absolutely fine. So that's how you do it. I'm going to go ahead and find my cone bushing and remove the other set of trucks and clean them, and then we'll meet in assembling it through the drop through board. Okay, peace. Here is the complete list of parts that is required for the drop through board we are going to remodify. Okay, not remodify, modify. Okay, so that's the deck here. Here's a couple of hangers and the wheel assembly. Each one has a couple of bearings, a spacer. Okay, it's all greased and oiled, and it's clean and perfect and ready. Let's go for a close-up. That is the deck. It has some concave to it. Okay, it's not W concave, it's concave. Means it's carved like this. Okay, and flattens out at the edges. Okay, so this is just a drop through board. It's not a drop down board. Drop down would be like there will be a step going down here, making it further a low rider. Okay, so here is the trucks, couple of trucks. Okay, I went and took some liberty to clean them, dust them, and applied a little amount of wax grease to the hardware to prevent it from getting rust, going rust, or some sort of catching up with rust. Okay, so here I did the same with the kingpins as well. I found the cone bushings. It hit my body and went into one of the shelves of the very same table. I found it later. I greased a little bit on the cup washers to prevent the rust also. Okay, I cleaned them, everything. The crack on the base plate is due to the pivot hitting the base plate. So I think can't do anything. It's the design flaw. Okay, I have not greased the axles yet because your hands will get messy when you are assembling. So once I assemble and before I put the wheels on, I'll grease them. Okay, so this is all ready and good. And by the way, one little detail, this is the axle itself, but you're not looking at the exposed axle, but there is a layer of aluminum covering the axle here. Okay, but that is almost close to the thickness of the axle here. Okay, so this is a 250 mm hanger. Okay, onto there. For an LDP you will need 155 or 140 or 125. I like 125 and 140 actually, so that's good. You can modify, as I told you in my previous video, you can always modify a hanger for that, but this is not a completely suitable. If you can file the inner portion of your bushing seat and insert a spherical bearing there, you're a great guy. If you could lathe this portion and put a spherical there, you're a great guy. As a mechanical engineer, I have operated lathe, but I'm not good enough with these things because it's been more than a 1.5 decade or 16-17 years since my engineering. So Madeline and Kake, she is amazing, man. You just give her a hint, she would catch up like fire. Like she has done the modifications of the hanger, she has modified, lathed the pivot, she has modified and renewed most of the base plates, and cut the axles according to it. I mean, reduce the hangers from 250 mm to the desired LDP setup. She is amazing. She is the little genius actually in terms of LDP, skating and everything. So these are the wheels, shine and good. Okay, so let's go and assemble this complete setup. Sorry, I stepped on my own dhoti. Yeah, there you go. It's the complete setup. Let's go and do this. This is the base plate with the kingpin, and always remember the pivot has to face the front side of the board. Either you're mounting it on the back side or on the front side, the pivot has to face the edge of the board or the corners of the board. So in a drop through board, this is how you assemble your base plate. Okay, normally a top mount is considered as wherein there will be no holes on the board. You just put your riser pads and just mount your trucks. Okay, but here you put your trucks and screw them like this. So by this way, for the thickness of the deck and the thickness of the base plate base, you're reducing the height of the entire board itself. So this is how you put your base plate there. I'm gonna go and screw the hardwares for it. Okay, you'll need your skate tool. For now I'm not using any riser pads. If you want, you could actually use a riser pad from the bottom. Okay, here you will get riser pads for this, wherein you can put a riser pad only for the thickness of these two holes. Okay, it can't be covering the entire drop through board. It can cover only this portion. Okay, for now I'm not using one. If I want, I can put some OHP sheets and save my board. Okay, just for you guys to know how it might look like, I'm gonna go ahead and cut some OHP sheets for you and put it there. Okay, hope you guys can see this is the small strip of OHP sheet which I cut, and I made a marking with my riser pads. Okay, hope you can see there is one here and one here. Okay, and I use the perforator to punch the holes. Okay, so I put that in the right mark. I right now going with the absolute guess game because I'm looking through the mobile screen. So that's how you make it. So use a perforator, punch a hole. All good. Do it for the other side too. When I built my first assembled my first skateboard, I did the same. It's not going to match perfectly, but you can always squeeze it. It's just flexible sheet of plastic. So all good. Peace. And for you guys to know, the kingpin is kind of blocking the view. Hope you guys can see. You just put it there. Since the whatever diameter of that hardware is similar to the perforator's punching size, so it will go inside easily. And you have to go ahead and tighten the hardware. Should I explain that? You guys are genius, you already would figure this out. So you put all the 4 hardwares, tighten them. Okay, I'll meet you guys when I tighten this completely and come back. Okay, sorry, it has some hyperfocal distance, minimum focusing distance, so might blur at some point. This is the only macro possible camera I have. That's my mobile phone. Okay, so this is how I'm going to do it for those 2 sides. It's already ready. I just have to put the hardware and assemble it. Okay, I am mounting it on the old school holes. Old school holes are bigger actually. Your this thing, right? So new school is the shorter version, old school is the bigger version. Okay, the measurements will be can be found in my LDP videos. Okay, where I built my custom LDP board. Okay, ciao. So I have put the OHP sheets below before tightening the hardware here. Okay, and your base plate is in the reverse direction. Okay, if you really don't like how it looks, I don't mind, because like when you're going to put the hangers and everything, it will be covered and you're going to flip the board and ride, so it shouldn't be a problem for you. If you really don't like and you can find only the riser pads like this, you have to cut them and use this strip for the hardware. Okay, so you cut them like this and take this only small piece of rectangle that goes under the hardware and put it there. Okay, as simple as that. So let's go ahead and do the assembly here. So hope you guys don't mind, my floor doesn't look neat over there because that's the dustbin area and it collects a lot of dust. Okay, in goes the cup washer matching for the barrel bushing. Okay, goes first. Make sure you're choosing the right side. It always goes on the base, which has the bigger size. Okay, or the smaller size, whatever goes on the bigger size. Okay, so take that, put it over your kingpin nut. If need may, give a small push to the kingpin nut, press it back, it will be in place. Okay, now kingpin and nut is in the proper place. Then in goes your hanger. I am assembling it like it came, so as simple as that. Only difference is your base plate is mounted upside down here. Okay, I'll do a temporary or a simple assembly of this for you to know, and I'll flip and show you later. Okay, and I think I have to flip it if you have to see it from the front side when I'm tightening the kingpin nut. Okay, let me go ahead and do that for you. So this is the front side. Okay, so we have put the hanger here. So just for you to see like how the hanger goes, you place the pivot in the pivot cup first and then put your hanger like this. Okay, so in this type of design, if you're going to carve too much, if your hanger is moving left and right like a reptile motion, you know, it's going to damage the bushing seat for sure. But I'm going to push, so this is in the safe condition. For the cone bushing, the cup washer goes on the top, so that your kingpin nut sits on that. Kingpin nut, you are able to tighten your kingpin nut. Okay, so there you go. Just giving a hand tight right now. I'm not sure if I would need something else to hold it. Just took a minute to grab my skate tool. It's the T tool. Okay, probably would have said it 1,000 times in my previous episodes. The T tool like this. This is for your hardwares. This is for your kingpin nut. This is for your axle nut. Okay, and you will have a tool here, a hex key, a hexagonal key. Okay, it has two types. One for a different type of hardware which has some hexagonal locks mechanism. Another one is for the square or the screwdriver. Square driver type mechanism, star driver type mechanism. Okay, so and that actually goes here, and you use this to lock your hardware and tighten it. Okay, right now I'm tightening my kingpin. Your kingpin will lock on the base plate, so you won't need anything to hold the kingpin as such when you are tightening your kingpin nut. It goes easily inside. I'm comfortable, and I usually tighten it as to the surface of the kingpin. Okay, so the nut and the kingpin goes on the same surface, so that's the amount of tight I always keep to my trucks. Okay, so this is the drop through board longboard truck assembly. Let's flip the board and see. So this is how it looks on the top. This is how it's going to look from the top side when you are riding. Okay, so This serves as another purpose as your foot stop as well. If you're going to place your leg like this, foot like this, and you can ride. If you're going to flex too much, since the thickness between the hardware and the drop through of your deck is very thin, like 2 or 4 mm, so it might crack your deck, okay, if it is not strong enough, or if you're overweight, or if you're going to jump on your board too much, there are possibilities for you to crack the deck. So it's come with quite a bit of risk here, but it's not that bad. Okay, since I'm going to push, this is pretty much safe. Okay, so that's how you assemble your drop through longboard truck. Let me go ahead and do it for the other side and come back to you guys, and we will see the complete picture of how the assembled drop through board looks like on a drop through deck, okay, before the wheel assemblies. Peace. So that's how a drop through deck would look like, okay, after assembly. Okay, so these holes were not there before. We cut out through the grip tape and put that. So you see, it's all the kingpin facing to the nose. Okay, so that's how you should assemble it. Now it's a low rider compared to the previous ones. Okay, right now we are going to do the assembly of the wheels here. As I told you before, you will need 2 space washers for the wheels to be mounted on the axle, one at the end and one here. Okay, unfortunately the board which I bought, and it came with only 1 speed washers. Okay, you will actually need 2 total. There will be 8 speed washers here. So you all knew, like from my previous video of LDP, this thing, I bought some 100 speed washers in case of any chaos or some missing parts. If I even when I'm trying to clean my board or something, like if I happen to lose one, I could replace with a new speed washer. So I took 4 from them, and I'm going to use it this time. So before which, I'll show you how to grease it. You probably have seen it 1,000 times, but I would like to show it one more time so that if you are new to the channel, you will know what it is. So it's a wax based grease. Okay, so I tend to put grease only on the axle wheels, so it keeps the wheel running smoother even when there is some sort of water that's going to get in the axle. Okay, so I apply it like this, nice and well. This grease would be of translucent in nature, though it looks black when it is thicker, but when you're going to use it, it mixes with the dust and everything and changes its nature. So I take 1 speed washer, put that in, and here is my wheel. Sorry, I took a second to grab my refill to have the speed washers in place when I put them inside. So that's how the wheel goes inside. Hope you guys can see it a little bit from here. Let me change the angles. Okay, and then you put another speed washer, then goes your axle nut, and you tighten that. Okay, let me grab my T-tool. You don't have to give too much tight, just give the right amount of tight. That's more than enough. If you give too much tight, the nylon in the axle nut would wear off and your nut might fall even during your rides. Okay, so that will be fatal. So you see, if your wheel shakes like this, you get some sort of feeling like this. It's moving on the axle in say consider Y and X direction. It's moving in X direction, so there has to be zero movement in X direction. All it should rotate here. X, it still moves, so I'm gonna tie it. It's a bit tighter, but this time it's not moving. So when you come to that stage, you give a half turn of loose. It won't shake, it won't make noise, okay, but it will rotate freely. Okay, this is what you want, and you got to do this for every side of your wheel. Okay, that's how you assemble your wheel. Hope you have learned the same thing over and over again. If you are a pro, you can skip this part. Okay, peace. Let me go and complete the board and show you the full view. So that's how the complete drop through board, which is assembled and ready, would look like. You see, like, you are hardly noticing the flaws that were there with the assembly of the riser pads, which we substituted with OHP sheets. By the way, those OHP sheets are bought for trials of cheap way of making digital negatives when I used to do salt printing back in 2016. So, and it did not work. Don't try that. You got to get Puerto Rico paper or Picto Rico paper or some sort of paper that is used for screen printing, which I have actually. So that went off the topic. So that's how the entire board would look like. That's how the top side would look like. Okay. Unfortunately, I got to show it to you guys with the used board. If you have a good board, you can make use of it. And if you're not using a board for more than a month, there are chances like cockroach could lay its egg. It happened to me, not lying. And this part is slightly exposed to the plain wood. If there is going to be water that is getting in, it might damage. I might apply some sort of grease or put some epoxy on the edges just to prevent or extend the longevity of this board. Okay, and there are protectors available for your nose. In India, it's expensive, but could cost you same as the price of the wheel. So I thought I would save it for later, and yeah, that's available for you to protect your nose. So that's how the entire board would look like after assembly. I would use this as a substitute for my LDP use also, because I'm just pushing for 10 or 12 kilometers every day, and it's a substitute board, a secondary board to my professional LDP board which I designed. So this will last. Any longboard could be served as an LDP board unless you are using it for very, very long distances, like 50-70 kilometers per day. That I don't do, so I think this should serve good. And it's a substitute board, so yeah. That's the complete board. Let's go and check the height from the ground level. Okay, peace. Here we go. So this is like 4 inches and little few centimeters tall in the height. Imagine with 100 mm wheels, this would have been closer to 5 or 6 inches from the ground level. This is same height as my LDP board right now, because that has some sort of angle to the fork, so it kind of drop down, and though it is a top mount, its height is about only 4 inches, and with 100 mm wheels. This one is like with 70 mm wheels with a 50 mm contact patch, yet this is 4 inch tall. So not bad, man. It's almost the same height of my LDP board, so I wouldn't feel the difference except for covering the distance at particular time. Okay, with small wheels you can do only certain speed and distance, and with the energy levels that I have. Okay, so anyways, so that's a good board. Hope it was useful for you guys. Hope I made some repetitive things, but it's for the audience or the kids who are watching my videos for the very first time, so that will be helpful for them. And yeah, that's a drop through board assembly for you guys. Peace. Look how easy it is to carry the board. It's really feels like a low rider because of the concave. All good, man, all good. I'm happy for converting this board into a drop through board.